King of the Jews, torn and marred. They nailed him up as the priest remarked. Go on and save yourself, man of God. Go on and save yourself, man of God. They took his clothes and they tore apart. As they rolled their dice, as they cast their lots. But what he wore was deep as heart, hidden on the skin of God. It was hidden on the skin of God. It was hidden on the skin of God. It was hidden on the skin of God. Even after all the evil, even when they raised him from the ground, as countless weight was laid upon him, he could only speak the sound. His voice could only cry the sound. Forgive them, they know not what they do. Forgive them, they know not what they do. Forgive them, they know not what they do. Forgive them, they know not what they do.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Kathy Taylor and I serve as the Women's Ministry Director here at MCC. And tonight we have two churches, Redeemer Anglican and Medway Community, who are coming together as one church to celebrate the work that Christ did on the cross. Now tonight it's a little bit more of a somber type of service than we are accustomed to on a Sunday, but we can rest assured that we will be together on Sunday morning celebrating the beauty of the resurrected Christ at either of our churches, and we do hope you join for one, and the services are there on the screen. If you have a little one with you today that is just going to be have a hard time getting through the service, we do have our wiggle room open that's out this door and down the stairs, and the service is live streamed there. And as I said, the service, it's a little more reflective, more somber. And to protect that, we do ask you to just check those cell phones, make sure that those are silenced, as not to disrupt the atmosphere. Because tonight, there is no resolution. There is no relief from the weight of what happened upon the cross. We leave without a benediction. We'll have communion and then leave in silence. So now I do invite you to stand up with me. We are going to start the service with a confession of our sin from Psalm 51, and I invite you to join together on the underlined portions. Have mercy on me, O God, according to your steadfast love, according to your abundant mercy. Blot out my transgressions. Wash me thoroughly from my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. For I know my transgressions, and my sin is ever before me. Against you, you only, have I sinned and done what is evil in your sight, so that you may be justified in your words and blameless in your judgment. Behold, I was brought forth in iniquity, and in sin did my mother conceive me. Behold, you delight in truth in the inward being, and you teach me wisdom in the secret heart. All right, church, let's remain standing as we raise our voices in worship.
Sinners plunged beneath that flood lose all their guilty stains. Lose all their guilty stains. Lose all their guilty stains. And sinners plunged beneath that flood lose all their guilty stains. The dying thief rejoiced to see that fountain in his day. And there may I, though vile as he, wash all my sins away. Wash all my sins away. Wash all my sins away. And there may I, though vile as he, wash all my sins away. Dear dying Lamb, thy precious blood shall never lose its power, till all the ransomed church of God be saved to sin no more. Be saved to sin no more. Be saved to sin no more. Till all the ransomed church of God be saved to sin no more.
Wasn't this the Son of God? Follow me. Those were the first words he said to me, follow me. It's a simple command, only 2 words. We have a way of making those things complex. Follow you where? Where are we going? Right now? Like right now? Like I'm fishing with my family. We're trying to feed ourselves, provide for our hired hands. Where am I going? How long will I be there? What do I need to bring? So many questions that we have to a very simple command of follow me. But I did follow him, and I saw amazing wonders. I saw the lame walk. I saw a man who had been born blind receive his sight. I saw lepers cleansed. I saw the dead brought back to life. I saw good news preached to the poor. I also saw incredible darkness. From the very beginning, the Pharisees and the scribes, they had it out for him. No matter what he did, it was never good enough. They accused him of all kinds of things, being a blasphemer, being wicked, being possessed, all of those things. They rounded him up in the middle of the night, and whether that was out of fear or jealousy or ignorance, I don't know. I know he was a threat to power. So they rounded him up and they brought him in, and they had a hastily gathered council, a bunch of people who couldn't even agree on their own stories, and they convicted him. They handed him over to the Romans. He was betrayed by one of his own. One of his other disciples denied him 3 times. But the Romans did something that was equally bad, maybe worse. They beat him, they flogged him, they spit on him, they stripped off his clothes, they cast lots for his clothing, they mocked him, they ridiculed him, they made him carry his own cross to the top of a hill, where they crucified him. And the horror of it all, made worse by his kindness. Forgive them, Lord. They don't know what they're doing. In the midst of all of that, I'm led here to the foot of the cross, and I'm here with his mother. The last thing that he says to her is, "Woman, behold your son." And he says to me, "Son, behold your mother." And I understood at that point that meant that I was supposed to take care of her. An honor and a privilege that's really reserved for his immediate family. I've seen a lot of darkness. I've also seen a lot of light. The light shone, and today it feels like the darkness won. Wasn't this the Son of God?
Standing by the cross of Jesus were his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple he loved standing there, he said to his mother, "Woman, here is your son." Then he said to the disciple, "Here is your mother." And from that hour, the disciple took her into his home.
Beneath the darkened sky, the King of life condemned to die. The crowd looks on with hardened eyes, unmoved by mercy's final cries. Redemption wrapped in blood and thorn, yet through this grief a hope is born. The great exchange, our guilt for grace, his life laid down, our debt erased. He bore our cross and wore our shame for the great exchange. Creation weeps with shadowed skies. The Son of God begins to die. It is finished, our Savior roars as the flame inside the temple tears. brow, makes rebels into children now. For the great exchange, our guilt for grace, His life laid down, our debt erased. He bore our cross and wore our shame for the great exchange. We watched Him break beneath the load, the wrath we earned, the debt we owe. No plea, no fight, He chose the tree to win the war and set us free. His blood ran true, His body torn. Our death He died, our life reborn. Oh, for the great exchange, our guilt for grace, His life laid down, our debt erased. He bore our cross and wore our shame for the great exchange. What boundless love, what sacred cost, that heaven's treasure would be lost, to find the wandering broken soul and make the wounded spirit whole. The sinless one became my sin, that I might bear His righteousness with Him. Dawn will break on the empty grave, where dark concedes to light that saves. When death was crushed beneath His feet, the King has made our joy complete. His scars remain love's testament, a bridge from death to heaven sent. The great exchange, our guilt for grace, His life laid down, our debt erased. He bore our cross and wore our shame for the great exchange. For the great exchange, our guilt for grace, His life laid down, our debt erased. He bore our cross and wore our shame for the great exchange.
Wasn't this the Son of God? Mary trembles as the shadow of her Son hanging on the cross reaches her feet. Crucified on rough Roman wood. The days of Jesus and his dad, Joseph, building things together, making beauty. It stands in a stark contrast to the monstrosity they built for him. She used to be able to hold him in her arms, her little boy. So much promise, angels' prophecy, the gifts and adoration of wise men. And now, to what end? Simeon had looked at her with wise old eyes and said, "A sword will surely pierce your heart." And he was not wrong. She can't shake the memories of the lashings and the mockery, each reverberate through her very being, her very soul. The soldiers, they were brutal. They tore him apart. They teased him, they toyed with him, they beat him all the way right up to death, and then they backed off cruelly, not even giving him that mercy as they mocked him. Her son had only spoken words of life and joy and hope. He even raised Lazarus out of the grave, and yet everyone here condemned him to death. And yet he forgave each and every one of them. A silence settles in, and a familiar dread creeps. She knows she's going to lose him. She knows the feeling because she's lost him once before when he was 12. For 3 days he was gone. 3 days of searching, 3 days of silence where her son should be. But on that third day, she found him alive, teaching in the temple, radiant. And he looked at her with a smirk and said, "Mom, where else would I be? Don't you know I need to be in my Father's house?" And his words didn't make sense, but she always treasured his words. Always. From the cross, as he hangs, he cries out, "I thirst." And her mother's heart aches. How she wishes she could just raise a cup of cool water to his lips. She's parched herself. She's spent, having cried so much there are no more tears, just dry, heaving sorrow. And in Mary's grief, a memory, water, floods her mind. A promise of living water to the woman at the well, her that she would never be thirsty again. And as she ponders this, Jesus cries out again, "Woman," and it breaks the spell. "Woman," it resounds. He's only ever spoken to her like that one other time in her life. It was in Cana at the wedding, when the wine ran out and she ran to him, always believing that he could fix the problem. And when she got to him, his response was jarring. "Woman, my hour is not yet here." And so quickly she said to the servants, "Do whatever he tells you." And the water turned to wine, the very best wine. And a flickering memory springs up in her heart. This wine is my blood for forgiveness. And she sees the wine-colored crimson stains at the foot of the cross spattered and splayed, and she traces them up the rough wood onto his body and onto his face, marking the wounds he has received. And his eyes catch hers, and they lock. And he says, "Behold your son. Behold your mother." Spoken with an air of finality. She stares back. "He has regarded my lowliness, but how much lower can I be?" His mercy from generation to generation. Will God have mercy now? Save him, she pleads. And he cries out one last time, and so does she. Involuntary, shared, and darkness covers the earth. And when the sword finds him, and they pierce his side, what pours out but blood and water? A holy echo, living water, forgiving blood. And before they wrap his body, Mary tenderly holds him one more time, as only a mother could, just like she did in Bethlehem, covered in blood and water. And as she holds him, despite what her eyes have seen, despite what her heart has endured, she knows who it is she's holding. This cannot be the end. It cannot be. God, you promised. And as she thinks that in her heart, all of a sudden her son's words come back to her like a flood. Do you not know I need to go to my father's house? My hour is not yet here. Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up. 3 days. She had lost him for 3 days, and she had found him alive. An excitement flickers up in her that she cannot explain, that she cannot extinguish. Wasn't this the Son of God?
When they arrived at the place called the Skull, they crucified him there, along with the criminals, one on the right and one on the left. Then Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, because they do not know what they are doing." And they divided his clothes and cast lots. The people stood watching, and even the leaders kept scoffing. "He saved others, let him save himself, if this is God's Messiah, the chosen one." The soldiers also mocked him. They came offering him sour wine and said, "If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself." An inscription was above him, "This is the King of the Jews."
Please stand and sing this with us. Were you there?
Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they crucified my Lord? Were you there when they laid him in the tomb? Were you there when they laid him in the tomb? Oh, sometimes it causes me to tremble, tremble, tremble. Were you there when they laid him in the tomb?
Please be seated.
My name is Judas, son of Simon Iscariot. I used to be in the inner circle, one of the 12, but now I find myself alone in a place of utter ruin. I gave up everything to follow him. Now, don't misunderstand me. I wasn't like the others, those rough, unrefined fishermen from Galilee. I was from Judea, just like he was. I had potential. Surely that is why Jesus chose me. I wanted power, I wanted prestige, I wanted glory. But what I ended up with was notoriety. My name forever synonymous with betrayal. I really thought Jesus was the one. After years of suffering under Roman oppression, finally our Messiah had come. And everything was leading up to that point. The crowds following Jesus were getting larger. The miracles he performed, the healings, the raising of Lazarus from the dead. And then that day he came into Jerusalem. He couldn't have been any more popular. And I thought, this is the time. And I sat back and I waited for him to act. But it never came. There was no way I was going to allow this moment to pass. Because I had so much hope. But then I began to wonder, was he the true Messiah, or was he just another man, a failed hope, an imposter? Or worse yet, was he the true Messiah and he refused to act? Again, I couldn't let that happen. I had to force the issue. So I took things into my own hands. I told the religious leaders when and where they could find him. Sure, I gained some influence from it and some silver from my pocket. But you understand, I set Jesus up for the pinnacle moment. And I thought at the point when he faced the cross, that's when he would show his power. That's when he would call down his angels. That's when he would establish his kingdom. But he didn't act. Jesus knew. He always knew. When he washed our feet, he said, one of us is unclean. When we sat at the table, he said, one of you will betray me. And I, like the others, said, is it I, like I didn't know? And he simply responded, whatever you need to do, do it quickly. And later he said, for the one who betrays the Son of Man, it would be better that that man had never been born. So yes, I am the one who betrayed the Son of Man, the Son of God. 30 pieces of silver. Do you know what that is? That's a price for a slave. Compensation if your slave is gored by an ox. Is that what I thought Jesus was worth? Or was that what I was willing to trade him for? Now, don't look at me with your disdain, because you're no different than I am. You trade Jesus weekly for comfort, for control, for approval of others, for the illusion of something better. You want Jesus' things more than you want Jesus himself. He's not enough for you. You keep looking for something more. There is one thing that we are not the same in. For you saw what happened after the cross. And yet you continue to bargain. You hold back, you hesitate, you wander off. It took only 30 pieces of silver to turn me away from Jesus. What is it that is turning you away from him, even now? Wasn't this a Son of God?
When Jesus said this, he was troubled in his spirit and testified, I assure you, one of you will betray me. The disciples started looking at one another, uncertain which one he was speaking about. One of his disciples, the one Jesus loved, was reclining close beside Jesus. Simon Peter motioned to him to find out who it was he was talking about. So he leaned back against Jesus and asked him, "Lord, who is it?" Jesus replied, "He is the one I give the piece of bread to after I have dipped it." When he had dipped the bread, he gave it to Judas, Simon Iscariot's son. After Judas ate the piece of bread, Satan entered him. Therefore, Jesus told him, "What you're doing, do it quickly."
So they took his body down. The man who said he was the resurrection and the life was lifeless on the ground now. The sky was red as blood along the blade of night. As the Sabbath fell, they shrouded him in linen. They dressed him like a wound. The rich man and the women, they laid him in the tomb. 6 days shall you labor, the seventh is the Lord's. In 6 he made the earth and all the heavens, but he rested on the the seventh, God rested. He said that it was finished at the seventh day. He blessed it. God rested. So they laid their hopes away. They buried all their dreams about the kingdom he proclaimed, and they sealed them in the grave. As a holy silence fell on all Jerusalem, but the Pharisees were restless, and Pilate had no peace. Peter's heart was reckless. Mary couldn't sleep. But God rested. Shall you labor? The seventh is the Lord's. In 6 he made the earth and all the heavens, but he rested on the seventh. God rested. He worked till it was finished, and the seventh day he blessed it. He said that it was good, and the seventh day he blessed it. God rested. The sun went down, the Sabbath faded. The holy day was done, and all creation waited.
Wasn't this the Son of God? If that's the scarlet thread running from each of these biblical characters to the next that we've heard tonight, they've spoken to us of our need for the gospel. And then at the end of the service, we come together, and at this table, it is a display of the gospel. Because what happened on that night when Jesus gathered his disciples together in the upper room and he explained to them in words they could just begin to understand of this great sacrifice that would be necessary. And now we remember that. We pause for a few precious minutes and we remember. A few logistics that you want to be aware of. If you have an allergy, we have gluten-free bread that is pre-packaged on the tables. Once you exit the sanctuary, children in our kids program here in the main building can be picked up by one parent, please, at the lower level into Fellowship Hall. And then those of you who know your students are over at the Discipleship House, you can head over there. In a moment, the ushers are going to dismiss us by rows, beginning with the very back rows here on the main level and in the balcony, and we'll proceed forward for communion. And in a couple moments, you'll want to collect up your things, because when we get up to leave, we're going to leave the sanctuary. We're going to leave in silence and reflection, because there is no sense of celebration or finality on Good Friday. We leave longing for more and waiting and hoping for more. That's something of the Spirit that we want to carry with us tonight. Church, this is not my table. This is not your table. This is the Lord's table. And He invites all who are resting in Him to come and to be spiritually nourished and remember His sacrifice. And I want to say to those of you who are here tonight and you would not call yourself a Christian, you would not take to yourself the name Christ follower, I'm so glad you're here tonight. Thank you for being here. I hope this service has blessed you as much as your presence has blessed us. And I also want to say that this is the portion of our service, the Lord's Supper, communion, the Eucharist. This is the moment when we declare, by taking the bread and the juice, that Christ is my Savior. I am His and He is mine. And if you would not make that declaration, then I would encourage you, as you come forward, to just quietly walk past the tables, and instead of taking the bread or taking the little cup of juice, this night, take Christ. Let this be the Easter weekend you remember every year going forward, because this was the night I gave my life to Jesus Christ. It was on that night in the upper room when Jesus, He took the bread and He broke it. And He said to His disciples, "This is my body broken for you. Take and eat." And then afterwards, He took the cup and He said to them, "This is the new covenant in my blood, shed for the remission of sins. As often as you do this, do it in remembrance of me." Ushers, will you please release the back rows? Pardon me?
Can they go now?
Oh, yeah.